nice wide stance. And what we're going to do now is hug our right knee and then hug our left knee. You should feel a stretch inside the leg. You keep your opposing leg as straight as possible. And you reach down, hug the leg that you're bending. So bending this right leg, and then I'm hugging my leg, keeping the left leg straight. Up to a neutral position, and then bend the left leg, keeping the right leg straight, hugging my knee in here, just like that. So chest to the knees, up into your neutral position. Staying in a relatively wide stance now, we're gonna do our squat position and bounce, okay? So pretty wide and bounce. So I'll go from the side from that one as well. Wide, bounce, still keeping nice tall posture throughout, never losing your posture. And then for the hold for the squat position, plant the heels down hard, never come off the heels, and you almost just want to let gravity do the work there. Throughout, when you're holding it, your toes should be able to wiggle up, no weight at all on the toes. I'll show you that from front view as well. No weight at all on the toes, just all of your weight on the heels, planting the heels down hard into the ground. Once we do that, we're going to stretch out our quad. Start with our right quad, nice tall posture, and then draw the leg up, point the knee straight down. Don't want to put too much torque on your knee, so you don't want to wrench it up really high or really hard. You don't want to do that. Just let the knee point down. Tall posture, shoulders back, head up high. Plant the heel and try to balance. Perfect. Now, we've done the quads, so we'll want to move on to the hips. You've done this hip rotation during the warm-up. Nice wide stance. Head is centered, and then you move your hips around your head. That one should be familiar to you from your warm-up routine. Now we're going to go down on all fours, and I'll show you a couple of stretches from there. First one is called the cat stretch. You go down on all fours, and then you bend the back like this. And press the arms hard into the ground, and again, trying to bend every vertebrae, open up all the hips, and allow your back to stretch out and curl. Then the opposing movement is called cobra. You lay your legs flat down on the ground, chest up, and then press your arms hard into the ground and bend your back around the other way. And that's how you get the cobra stretch. Now we're going to stay on all four, and we're going to stretch our, first I'll start with my right leg, extending back. And this is not like pointer dog, where I keep my leg fairly level. I want to really exaggerate the motion. Same thing on the left leg, not just keep it straight, but exaggerate the motion and try and hold that for the 30 seconds. After we do those two, we're on to our child's pose. Child's pose, nice wide knees apart stance. Let the legs collapse. Let the whole body just collapse down into the ground. And you guys should be very familiar with child's pose. Trying to relax the back, relax the shoulders, relax your head into the ground. You might have to take your hat off briefly. Make sure it's back in position before you move on to the next one. Otherwise, you'll touch your face. Okay, now we can move on again to the sitting position stretches. I'm going to start with the butterfly. I like to draw my legs in very close to my body, and then just flap the butterfly wings like that. I don't have great flexibility here, so some people can really torque their legs down by pressing their elbows down hard, that's acceptable, and you can do that as well. I prefer just this one for me, but both are perfectly acceptable. Just be careful you don't put too much weight, too much pressure, and tear your legs apart. That would be no fun at all. After that, we're gonna cross one leg over the other, and we're gonna try and crawl forward, sitting like with the legs crossed. So we crawl forward hard as we can, 30 seconds, and then we switch legs, do the same movement. Crawl forward, pull yourself as far forward as you can, and stretch out the legs that way. Now we're going to move on to having our legs nice and far apart, and stretching forward hard as we can. Big stretch forward, legs apart, and holding that for 30 seconds. Now, same stretch, reaching forward, but having your legs together. Now, for this one with the legs together, I'm going to use a towel. You always have to know where your towel is, you poopy fruits. So, because I have the towel, I can really accentuate my posture. And if you, I tend to pull pretty hard back on my toes, but you can go right down to the heels and get similar effect. Pull yourself hard forward. Nice tall through the back. Try and feel the stretch back here as well as along the hamstrings. And because we're using this towel, you've got to be careful. You don't want to cause an injury by, you can injure yourself plenty of different ways in this. Just be careful, stay tall through the posture, and make sure you're not targeting the back of the knees. If you feel a bad stretch in the back of the knees, that's no good. Just a nice soft bend in the legs, that'll be enough to protect the knee joint. And then you can put some good torque on your hamstrings that way. And we can do the exact same thing now. Legs apart, right leg and left leg. So again, pulling myself forward, nice tall posture, tall through the back, right leg and left leg. Pulling myself forward, using the towel to get that extra stretch and that extra motion forward and that extra pull on the hamstrings. Then we've got, we can lie back down again and draw the knee up to the chest. Okay, so that's not the knee and the foot. First we're going to start with just the knee, and when we're on our back like this, we want to make sure our back is completely flat against the ground, and then we want to make sure our opposing leg is completely flat against the ground, and then use your arms to draw the knee into the chest. Started with my right leg, and then I move on. Same thing with my left leg. Draw the knee up into the chest. Back flat against the ground. Opposing leg flat against the ground. And that's going to keep you in a nice strong position. Staying in very similar position. Now you draw up your foot and your knee together. Target the hips. Okay? But again, keeping your opposing leg flat against the ground and your lower back flat against the ground as you pull up, and you should feel a big stretch deep down in your glute, and if not your glute, then your hip that's where you're gonna feel it. And that's the knee and foot stretch. Now we're gonna do what's called an exaggerated bridge. Okay, so the exaggerated bridge isn't like the bridge that we do where we're nice and flat. We actually use our arms to press up and accentuate the motion and exaggerate the motion. So typical bridge position, And then we use our arms to exaggerate and thrust our hips further forward, still keeping your knees together. Don't let your knees fall apart as you do it. You want to go up into the bridge position and then exaggerate that motion. Excellent. Okay. Once we do the bridge, then we can do our pretzels. So bend one leg in. I'm going to start with my right leg and then putting my left elbow hard into my knee. And again, you want to feel the stretch deep down right in here. Keep your posture tall and twist your whole body around. Do that for both sides. Now it's my right elbow to my left knee, tall posture, torque it around until you can feel the stretch right in here, right deep into the leg. Now we've got most of our legs done, but we want to now stretch out our ankles and our calves. What we're going to start with is called a lunge stretch. And during this stretch, you want to make sure your heel is firmly planted in the ground. If you're up on your toes, you can put too much pressure on your knee joint. So during this stretch, the whole time, you have to keep the heel pressed hard into the ground. So I'm going to start on my right leg, go into the lunge position, and then I'm going to put all of my body weight onto my quad here and press down hard, keeping my heel hard on the ground, and then I can feel a big stretch along the back of my calf all the way into my ankle. Same movement, left leg. Again, press the heel down hard and put all your body weight on your leg, and making sure not to go up onto your toes. So no toes. Press the heel down and then press down on your leg until you feel the stretch along there. That's the lunge ankles. Next, we're going to go in our push-up position. Still stretch out our ankles. I'm going to start with my right leg. Plant the heel down hard, the other leg up, and just you can feel the stretch right here all along the back of the leg. Hold that for 30 seconds, switch to your left leg, and then you should feel the whole stretch all along the back of the leg there, pressing the heel down into the ground throughout that stretch. So that's the push-up position ankle stretch. And now I'm going to do the standing ankle stretch. Again, I'll start with my right leg, put it up against the wall, and then move my body as far in towards it as I can. And again, I'm feeling the stretch along the back of my leg, mostly below the knee joint. And same thing, left leg, all putting, you can thrust your hips forward, and that gives you a little bit of extra stretch on the ankle. And then the last movement, shake it all off. Taylor Swift would be proud, shaking it all off because you've just done a whole bunch of stretching for your whole body. Okay, good job everyone. I hope you find this helpful. I hope that everything was clear, and let me know if you have any questions. Good job everyone.